That was good. We're gonna be talking about the basics of setting up like your own workout program. Because I know a lot of guys really go in the gym and just like think about just going hard every time, but like it's more about like the quality of the workouts than the quantity, right? So like you gotta work smart, not hard every time. So we're just gonna be going basic stuff like some things that you need to consider before you actually program yourself, or just if you hire a coach or some shit like that. Things like talk about goals and time frame, right? So
goals meaning specifically, are you looking to build muscle? Are you looking to lose fat? Are you getting ready for a wedding, or do you just want to get stronger? These are things to take into consideration. Be specific with what your goal is and the time frame of how long it's going to take you to achieve your goal. Try to be realistic with your time frame. Don't try to make your goal so short, and don't try to make it too long, but talk to a coach about setting a realistic time frame if this is something you have trouble with. But generally speaking, you're going to lose maybe about, let's say, half a pound of muscle or half a pound of fat every week, and gaining muscle is even slower. So keep that in mind when you're thinking about what your goals are.
Yeah, like just for example, like exactly what he said, but like if you have a goal of losing 30 pounds in 2 months, that's not happening, yo. Like, you know, a lot of guys, we go on crash diets where you go like freaking broccoli and chicken for 2 months and lose the weight and doing cardio every day, but we look skinny, and like it's not sustainable, right? So just have a reasonable and a sustainable goal that you can actually achieve and program towards, right? So we're gonna go into how you actually set your workouts in terms of the exercises you do, sets, reps, how many days you go to the gym, all the other stuff, right? So just to make it easier, Qatar is gonna talk about like the actual programming, and I'll kind of try to ask questions to make it more simplified so we can all use the knowledge. So the first thing we're talking about, exercise selection, right? Like, so how do I know what exercises to do?
So first and foremost, you want to always include the compound movements in any program that you do, right? So the compound movements are the bench press, the squat, and the deadlift, right? Now on top of that, you do have things that are like compound movements. They work your full body. They're also considered assistance movements, things like pull-ups, barbell rows, lunges, split squats, things like that, right? So when you're thinking about what exercises to choose, they're mainly based off of your goal. So if your goal is to build more muscle, you want to choose exercises that give you the best bang for your buck. If you're trying to get bigger legs, a squat is going to give you more gains than a leg press would. Right? So that a squat would be a better exercise selection than a leg press as a primary movement. Right? So you want to think of those things in terms of how you choose what you want to choose, is base it off of your goal. Right? So the compound movement should always stay in there, and then you can add assistance exercises based off of what your specific goals are for your body and for your weight loss or muscle gain.
So
like hip thrusts.
Like hip thrusts.
Hip thrusts. So like, so for example, like if you're doing now, you know how the basic concept is like chest day, back day, arm day, whatever that day. For a chest day, you would choose bench as the first exercise. Pretty much all the time. If you're trying to gain muscle, kind of thing.
I would keep it as a primary movement for most of my chest days. But I would also start to add things in, like either an incline bench press, incline dumbbell press, flies, flat dumbbell presses, things that are effective that you can switch around every once in a while. But the goal should be to just get slightly stronger on doing those things over a long period of time. Right?
That's the concept of
progressive overload.
Progressive overload. Okay, so that progressive overload just means get stronger over time. That's basically building muscle over time. Basically, so make sure you're making progress as you're doing that. If you're seeing like you're being stagnant after every 2 weeks, you gotta look over what you're doing. You might be going too hard, or you might be not going hard enough, or you might be, just not programming right. Second thing, volume, right? So like, how many sets, reps, how many sets, all that stuff, how much do I do in one workout?
Well, so you want to choose at first the minimal amount of work that you can do to actually make progress, because that leaves you more room to progress on the weeks coming ahead. Right? So if you start with, let's say, 2 sets on bench press, in a couple weeks you want to increase it to 3. In a couple more weeks you want to maybe increase it to 4. And then when you've maximized the amount of sets you can do on something, you can possibly increase the weight on the amount of sets you're doing. Right? Then you can increase the amount of reps you're doing as well. Right? So those are the basics. You can change things like the amount of time in between sets as well, tempo, all that thing. But the major things is going to be sets and reps. Right? So how many sets you're doing and how many reps you're doing with that.
Is there like a, not an easy, but like a simplified way of finding out what's your minimum volume might be to like start off for someone? Like,
I would say if you're putting in a decent amount of effort, like an 8 out of 10 effort into a set, in the beginning I would maybe do 2 hard sets like that.
For a body part?
For a body part, and then trying to increase it from there on.
Okay, so like over time, doesn't matter? Like, what's the point when you stop increasing it?
When you stop increasing
increasing the volume. I mean like more in sense like, say for example, you're burnt out. Like you go so high, like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
okay, so in that case, when you're burnt out, you probably need a deload.
Okay, deload.
The purpose of a deload is to give your body a little bit of a break from lifting heavy, to recover and to be able to readjust to heavier weights in the upcoming weeks.
Okay. So basically, you start off with like a minimum volume where like you're not getting too sore. You're still getting a nice pump. You're getting the workout in.
Yeah.
But you're not going too hard right away.
Yeah.
Like most of us somehow, for some reason, do.
Yeah.
So start off little and then slowly increase it over time, and then just go hard towards the end of the cycle.
Exactly.
And then once you're feeling like bust, then you take deload week, and you start again.
So also comes back in with your time frame.
Okay.
So if your time frame is 12 weeks, you're trying to hit a goal in 12 weeks, you don't want to start going hard in the beginning, the first couple weeks.
Okay.
You want to slowly work your way up so that at the end of the 12 weeks, that last 1 or 2 weeks is where you're going the hardest.
Okay.
And everything else is leading up to that in those priors.
So slowly peaking.
Slowly peaking.
So peaks and valleys, right? It's not always linear. Okay. That makes sense. And then third thing, frequency, right? So I guess you kind of talked about the time frame.
Yeah.
Like time frame, and also I guess your lifestyle kind of plays here, big role here. Just like how many days can you actually go to the gym?
Yeah.
So talk about frequency, right? Like how can we incorporate that? Like is more frequency better or less frequency, or was good, right?
My suggestion for most people would be to have each body part hit at least twice a week.
Okay.
If you can do more, if your schedule and your lifestyle allows you to do more, right? Balancing things out to, hit each body part 2 or 3 times a week, I feel is perfect for most people.
2 or 3 times.
Right? 2 or 3 times a week. So working your schedule, your training plan around that would work best for most people. Okay. Right? Obviously, you have to try both to see which one works better. Okay. So adjusting after a couple of weeks, when you want to do 2 or 3 times, you can see what works best.
So that's like the thing, push, pull legs, right?
Yeah, so
push, pull legs.
There's different splits you can do. If if you're doing 3 times a week, it makes sense to do a full body split.
Okay.
If you're going to the gym 4 times a week, it makes sense to do something like an upper lower split.
Okay.
If you're going to the gym 5 times or 6 times a week, it makes sense to do something like a legs push pull rest, legs push pull.
Okay.
Right? So depending on how many times you're actually able to go to the gym, you can do different workout splits and split your week into certain variations like that.
Okay. So like if I wanted to gain the most muscle, like we all do, because that's life. Going to the gym, not going to the gym, but hitting a body part more times in a week, as you're capable of, not going too hard where you're like sore for the rest of the week, is more beneficial than just doing it like a bro split where you hit one body part once a week.
Yeah, so
a little more beneficial.
Typically, hitting a body part more often, given you're recovering properly and you're giving yourself enough calories to actually grow.
Okay, calories.
Usually will result in better growth.
Okay.
Right? But if you're hitting those body parts more often, you're not giving yourself time to recover, you're not going to make that extra progress, right? Simply because you're not recovering from each workout.
Okay.
So as long as you're able to recover from each workout, you can increase your frequency based off of your recovery.
Okay, that makes sense. So we covered what exercises to do, how much volume to do, and then frequency. Last thing is like, how much effort do you put in your actual sets, right? Like how hard do you go? Just because we were talking about don't go too hard right off the bat, slowly progress your way up, right? So effort.
So I suggest when you work out, you want to work out with an intent to actually make progress. Progress is made by pushing yourself.
Okay.
There's a fine line between pushing yourself to a point where you can recover from it and pushing yourself beyond that point where recovery is inhibited the next couple of days, and you know, you're coming out and you're getting weaker each workout.
Yeah.
Right? So a simple way to kind of test this is to see how sore you're getting from each workout. Right?
Okay.
You shouldn't stay sore for more than 2 days. I feel like if you're staying sore for like the whole week from a workout,
Too much.
you're probably doing too much,
Yeah.
or you're probably under recovering.
Or you're just too weak.
So you need to get stronger.
You need to get stronger.
You need to eat a little bit more. And you
Yeah.
need to rest a little bit more. And you might need to change the frequency or the volume that you're doing in order to recover properly.
So like with effort, do you would you keep the effort same throughout the whole workout plan and then kind of just keep increasing the volume?
I would
Frequency, or would you progress?
I
on
would
effort?
increase my effort a little bit more towards the end,
Okay.
right? But I wouldn't decrease my effort anything less than like a 7 out of 10.
Okay. So 7 out of 10, you mean like when someone does a set, they should have, if 7 out of 10 meaning you should have 3 more reps left in the tank.
Something like
Something
that. Yeah.
like that.
Something like that, where you're pushing yourself. You still have a little bit left, but
Yeah.
you know, at the end of the workout, you should feel a little bit tired, a little bit sweaty,
Okay.
not totally exhausted.
Yeah.
You should still be able to function throughout the day. If you have work afterwards, you should be able to work. Okay? You shouldn't be killing yourself every workout,
Yeah.
but you should still feel like you got in a workout.
Okay. So it should feel like actual workout.
Yeah.
Like still.
Yeah.
Just because we're saying start off a little slow or start off a little less doesn't mean it's not a workout.
Yeah, you're still pushing yourself, but
Okay.
not as hard as you possibly can right at the beginning.
Okay, that makes sense. The last thing I was gonna be like mention is more like execution and technique and form, right? So this stuff you guys can probably just YouTube, but probably plays the biggest role in the muscle you're trying to grow. Like if you're trying to get your bench strong, your chest big, if you're not doing it right, you're gonna fuck your back up, you're gonna fuck something up, right? Or squats or deadlifts. So technique and execution and just doing with the intent to like actually grow that muscle makes a big difference, right?
Yeah.
If you go to the gym but actually, if you're just going through the motion, you're not gonna get a nice pump. You're not gonna actually see best results. But just go with the intention to actually do the workout properly, proper technique and everything, right? So.
And you guys have trouble figuring it out if your form is good or not,
Yeah.
hire a coach, ask a
Yeah.
trainer.
Yeah.
You know, we're both pretty educated in terms of what your form should be, how to fix
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
But
100%.
like he said, YouTube it.
Yeah.
There's lots of videos teaching guys how to, you know, do a bench press or a squat properly or a deadlift, whatever it is. No reason for anybody to not have that information available to them,
Okay.
right? Whether you want to go hire somebody to do it or go do the research on your own, you should try to always have good form on all your exercises.
Yeah,
So you stay
100%.
safe. The best way to make gains is to stay consistent.
Yeah.
The best way to stay consistent is not to get injured, and the best way not to get injured is to have good form.
100%. Perfect. I'm gonna give like a summary of what we talked about.
So all in all, for your programming, make sure you guys have a goal,
Okay.
right? With your goal, be specific with what you want and a time frame,
Yep.
right? With your time frame, choose a split that works with your lifestyle,
Yep.
right? And then with that, choose exercises that are going to give you the best bang for your buck,
Yep.
right? From that, progress on the exercises, use good form. You have variables like your sets and reps to play with and your total volume to play with.
Yep.
As long as you're progressing, you're using good form, you'll make gains.
Yep.
And that's the basics of programming.
Yeah. And make sure you're putting in decent effort every single workout.
And the effort, yeah.
Slowly increase the effort over time. I hope that helped, and let us know if you guys want to see like any other topics or talk about any other topics. But that's about it, and bye bye. Take it easy.